You're listening to Unmuted with Papa Mutes.
Now, you have spoken about self-publishing, instead of waiting for a publisher to grab you. Just tell us about that.
Yeah. Um, I feel like, again, self-publishing is one of those things that it's different for everyone on their writing journey.
Mm-hmm.
And, different types of publishing can serve different, I guess, goals at different points in your writing career. So for me, I chose to self-publish Quiver because I was proud of it. I knew that there were people that it would resonate with. Um, it had already been workshopped a lot by many different people, including my peers and my mentors. So there was a lot of material in there that I felt was pretty good and, to the point where I would be proud of it and I would know that it had gone through the necessary steps um, in order to be published.
Sure.
Because that's the thing. I've also been traditionally published. So traditional publishing, that is just when, you get a literary agent
Okay.
and then you are published elsewhere. Or in my case, I didn't have a literary agent. I just submitted to different journals and, um, they accepted it. So there's
Cool.
different ways to go about traditional publishing. But going back to what I was saying before,
Mm-hmm.
self-publishing serves different roles at different parts in your career. And since I'm still a young writer, and I was just very excited to get that body of poems out in the world.
Sure.
So I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to do this. That path isn't for everyone. And I definitely see the value of traditional publishing. And it's definitely something that I want to do later in my career. But as I'm building myself as a writer, I was just like, I'll do this and I'll just see what happens.
Right. Stepping stones.
Yeah.
Now, on your website, you speak of a more inclusive Earth. So, who falls into the category of not being included, in your opinion?
In terms of my book and the things that I've written about in the past, for me, it's about fostering growth and inclusion for everyone and just being kind and compassionate towards people. And for example, one of the things that I wrote about in my book is how, especially with my personal experience with my religion that I grew up with as a child, there were certain aspects of it that now I look back on and I'm like, why was this okay? Like, why was this happening? For example, our priest he wouldn't talk about misogyny. He would say misogynistic things as part of the sermon. Or he would say other things against LGBTQ people that were just not okay to say in a public space. And so when I talk about inclusion, I mean that people shouldn't be made to feel lesser than because of just who they are.
Right. Inclusion is exactly that. Inclusion.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like the song thing. Do you ever see a photo and say, ooh, I got a poem for that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Poetry is everywhere. Poetry is life. And
poetry is life. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, I definitely sometimes will just look at a photo and it's beautiful because it tells a story. There's a narrative without any words. And I think that's the process of making images and capturing images is really cool because you can find a story within the everyday life around us.
Do you feel that poems have to rhyme?
No, definitely not. Honestly, sometimes I prefer poems when they don't rhyme, or if the rhyme is just really tasteful. For example, if just a few, there's a few couplets throughout the poem that rhymes, I think that can be really tasteful and not come off as like sing-songy. Um, or if there's a slant rhyme, I think that can be done really well. I definitely don't think poems have to rhyme though.
Now, what's a slant rhyme?
So a slant rhyme is words that sound like they kind of rhyme or they almost rhyme. So an example would be, let's see, like ant and slam. They kind of sound the same,
Hmm.
but they don't, end the exact same way.
Now, who do you read?
Um, I would say my biggest inspiration, like I said earlier, would be Olivia Gatwood. She's a poet that is contemporary. She has a bit of a YouTube following. She posted about, I would say, 7 to 10 years ago.
Hmm.
She would do a lot of slam poetry competitions, and
Wait, wait,
then
wait,
she
wait. Now, what's slam poetry? Is that like rap? And you rap, I rap, boom, 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 back and forth. I mean, is that what
it's
is that? I mean,
I
slam
mean
poetry.
so, I mean it's slam poetry is just
A
it's
rap
like
battle.
spoken word poetry.
Okay.
It's like spoken word poetry.
Okay.
So
Oh wait,
she
no, no. What
would
I'm saying is it like off the top of your head, or is it?
no,
Oh, okay,
no,
okay.
no,
I thought
it's
maybe it
not
was
like a
sky's blue. What are you
freestyle.
gonna do?
I would love that. That would be amazing.
Slam
But
poetry. I like it. Yeah.
yeah. Um, so she would upload a lot of her videos to YouTube, or
Hmm.
like her performances to YouTube. And the things that she talks about, like she talks about what it means to grow up as a girl and just the experiences of femininity,
Okay.
experiencing those things for the first time. Um, and then like shifting from being a teenager into young adulthood as a woman.
Hmm.
So she talks about those kinds of themes a lot. And because she talks about that stuff, it really resonates with me because I feel like she tackles a lot of taboo things. And
Okay.
I would say that her poetry is, it would classify as confessional poetry because a lot of her poems are beautiful. They're very lyrically prevalent, but they're also focused on like these little snippets. It's almost as if she took a picture and just put it on the page because
Wow.
they're so focused on just like, this is a memory, this is a memory, this is a memory. And the way that she writes is really inspiring to me, and what she writes about is very inspiring. It's really cool when uh, someone gives you a permission slip to dip your toe in and try a new subject or a new way of expressing yourself. And I feel like Olivia Gatwood's work has given me a lot of permission slips.
Okay.